Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to my channel. Today is another day in the 100-day project, and it is actually day 92. So this video and 8 more, and that's it for the 100-day project. It's crazy. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to stick with it when I started, and now look at where we're at. I have, I think, 6 journals on the go and making projects nonstop. Today is Sunday, and it's been a little while since I touched my ABC Golden Book, so it is time to get at it. And today is actually for the letter G, so it is for gold and grunge and geography, but I'm not touching geography at all. It is also for gesso. And I was watching a video by Crafty by Tony. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. And she was making her own texture paste. So I was like, oh, that's super interesting. And then she was making her texture paste with cornstarch and baking soda and like a texture paste powder. I don't have texture paste powder, so that we're just going to take that idea and go out the window. However, she also made it with tea. Because she used tea bags to create texture and then used the tea to make texture paste, which is fantastic. What a fantastic idea. I have tea bags. I drink very little coffee, actually, like pretty much no coffee, unless I am at my daughter's and she has coffee ready, or like every now and again, I'll have a cup. But for 99.9% of the time, I drink tea. Herbal tea, green tea, black tea, it doesn't matter as long as it's tea. So what do I have from that is tea bags. A million tea bags. And I've had these, look how pretty they are, these ones laying around. And these are hibiscus tea bags. So they're pretty, they're red. And I wonder what would happen if I were to use those in texture paste. I'm going to close this up, and it is time to do some experimenting. And we are going to use it on the G because grit, gesso, great, good, fun. And yeah, let's just try this. I'm going to put this aside for now. And I have a whole lot of containers because it is experiment time. And I have some PaperArtsy paints, which I think are absolutely wonderful. They are fresco finish, so they're really chalky, and I like them. I also have my tub of gesso. Oops. And I have some chopsticks for stirring. I love using chopsticks for stirring. Every time I get sushi, I try to save my chopsticks so that I have them for crafts. There we go. Oh, and I have some palette knives. I think I'm good. I think I am good. Let's get started. I think I want to try and see which one I personally like better. Do I like it better to make texture paste with baking soda or with cornstarch? So that is test number 1. And I'm going to use for my cornstarch and baking soda experiment, I am going to use Chantilly for the baking soda, and I'm going to use vintage lace for the cornstarch. So they're both white-ish. They're just off-white. One is a little bit more pink than the other, and they're both, one is semi-opaque, and this one is opaque. So I'm going to put a little bit of paint. I'm going to start with the baking soda. So I'm going to put a little paint. Whoa. Into my cup. I don't put my baby wipes. They are here somewhere. But today is Saturday. It is time to clean up for me. So I'm just recording one more video so that I've got tomorrow or this video out of the way, and then I am going to do some housework. So I don't know how much I'm supposed to use, so I'm just using like maybe 1.5 teaspoons. Oh, and that gets really nice and thick, and it feels gritty. It does. Okay, so that one feels gritty. I can multitask that way. All right. I'll just use that much paint because my bottle is saying, no. And then I'm just going to get some cornstarch. Now, I'm thinking that the cornstarch is going to be smooth. I'm just going to use 1 teaspoon. And let's stir it. It doesn't mix as quick and easy as the baking soda did. You can see it's kind of coming out of all sides. I think I need a little bit more paint. Let's see if that's better. I think it is. It's still pretty thick. Ooh, yeah, that's way too thick. So probably 1/2 teaspoon would have done on the amount of paint that I used. But at least I have a very pretty pinky texture paste now. Okay. Because this stuff will last. Like, it's just paint and cornstarch. This isn't going to go bad. It's feels kind of like glue. It's really thick, but it's a nice texture, I believe. It doesn't feel as gritty as the other one. But the baking soda mixed way easier than the cornstarch did. Oh, let's put that over there. Alrighty, I had found a cloth, so I wiped everything up nicely. And next I want to work with these tea bags. So I'm just going to leave this here. I want to work on everything once I've got them all ready to go. I need some scissors just to cut the string off the bag or bags. Yeah, I'm just using 2. It is so cold in here. I could turn the heat on, but you know, it is the beginning of September. I just don't want to turn the heat on yet. I'm not ready for that. So I wonder if this hibiscus tea is going to give the gesso like a pretty pinkish color. That is really my goal. Like, I want a pinky grunge. I don't want a regular dirty grunge. I want it to be pretty and pink. I can't believe I just said that. That just sounds so weird. I am so weird. And it was nice and sunny, and now the sun is gone, and that leaves me a little bit in the dark, so I'm going to have to turn some light on. Give me a second. I'll just empty this and I'll turn on a light. Okay, so it's not a lot of tea. Let me turn on the light now. All right, let there be light. So I'm going to use my gesso. Oh, if I can open the jar, there we go. Okay, and what do I want to use to take the gesso out? I am not putting gesso in my good Tupperware container. I don't want that much. So I'm just going to take a bit and put it in one of these containers. I get these with my, when I get my sushi, I use the takeout containers. I wash them out and I reuse them. So these are for the ginger and the wasabi. I also use the, my bento box. How my bento box is, I use this for putting my labels in and storing them like that. Call me crazy, but it works. And it's recycle, right? You may as well reuse the things that you are given as opposed to purchasing more. Okay, I'm going to take some of these tea bags. Maybe I'll use all of it. Sure, well, most of it. Okay, and let's stir this up and see what happens. So I think Tony was using paint and I'm using gesso, so that is a little bit of a difference. I'm not sure if it is coloring it. Not really. No, there's no color coming off of. Oh, maybe there is a little bit. Because hibiscus tea leaves turn blue. So they look red. Oops. The tea bags look pinkish. But when you get it wet and you put it on paper or anything like that, it turns blue. It's really funny how they just have different colors all the time. I've tried to dye paper in like this beautiful pinky color and it doesn't work. I've tried everything possible. Okay, so that works. Now the other thing she was using was she used gesso with infusions. If you know me, you know that I love my infusions. So I have gesso everywhere now. Wonderful. Gesso is very messy. Once you get it on something, you will never get it out. Let me grab some of my infusions. So these three are my favorites. That is Are You Cerise, Violet Storms, and Sunset Beach. I'm going to put my scissors away. I won't need them for a little bit. And I'm going to grab some gesso and I'm going to put them in these containers. Let's see what happens. So Sunset Beach is kind of an orangey pinky color. And yes, I am using lots. See the color coming up? Oh, that's pretty. So that's that one. Then I'll use the cerise, which is really a very bright pink. That's a ton of color. I know I paint with this sometimes too, and I use it for dyeing paper, so I know how much color, how much pigment you get off of the infusions. And then I have the Violet Storms. And this is a really deep purple. So I may do more with this for a couple of days, so I'll probably use some for my sewing journal as well. So let's stir this together and see what we're going to get out of it. So it's definitely coloring the gesso, but it's not going very, it's not thickening the gesso at all. So I think I want to use a little bit of texture paste, of cornstarch. So maybe half a teaspoon. See if that is enough. I'll just go little bits at a time, because I want it to be somewhat of a texture paste. I think I can use a little bit more. I know I'm going to put it in there anyway, so I may as well put the leftovers in there, right? All right, let me just wipe up some of this stuff here. There. Oh, and now you can see how bright that pink actually is. Because, of course, there's lots of infusions that, like, it's powder and it goes everywhere. Once you start messing with it, it is never ending. So I should use it more often. So what I want to do is I'm going to stamp a bunch of G's on here. And then I have some gears that I want to grunge up, and I have some stencils with G's. I think there's a G on here. This one has a G, and then I have my G stamps. I know I have more G stamps, but I'm just not going there. So I'm going to start with the stamps, and I'll grab my espresso ground espresso distress ink. There we go. All right, I also have my grungy stamp, so I'm going to start with that. And I'm just going to put some grunge on this lovely goose page. I like that. There. Grunge it up a little with ground espresso. Ha, get it? All right, so I'm going to take that stamp off of the little block, and I'm going to put this one on, and I'm going to continue on with the ground espresso. And I'm going with a rule of 3. So I will put 3 of each stamp on here, and that gives me, whoops, that gives me 3 stamped clusters. Just using a little piece of paper to take the rest of the ink off. This stamp is super sticky, you guys. They're brand new and very sticky. Somewhat overlapping here and there a little bit as well. I really want this to just turn into something cool. I don't like this part, but I can cover it up. I don't like that they're like together. And then with this, I am going to, with this little one, I'm going to go G, G, G. So I'll use 3 within the cluster. Just to get texture onto my piece. Ears are going to come after. They are going to be decorations. I'm not sure. Well, let's do this. So I'm probably going to take, the Sunset Beach. Oh, and I have way too much. That was like a lot of texture paste. And I'm just going to very carefully, because I don't want to get any other letters in there. Use the G stencil. Cool. I want one right here as well. How am I going to do that? Not by sticking your fingers in it. Okay, I'll have to keep it lifted up so that it doesn't smear through the rest. geez, with the sunset beach. All right, it is dry. I was hoping that it would bubble and pop, but it didn't really do that. So this is what I got. That's okay. It's okay. I'm going to zoom you back out a little bit. And I'm trying to get this so that this is centered. There we go. Next, let's do some gears. We've all seen this stencil before. I've used it many, many times during Junk Journal July. So let's put some gears over top of the other stencil that is already there. And I'm okay with not catching everything. I think that would look better, and I want it to not be a perfect stencil impression, but I am sure that that's not what's going to happen. This is a big mess. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to put this right here on the edge. It is still okay. Let's do a different gear piece right here, this piece right here. I'm going to lay this down as flat as I can and put it over top of the stencil, not underneath it. I was just trying to do that part. Yeah, it's okay. I am not thrilled about it, but it doesn't overly bother me either. I am going to go over top of it with the gears, so it's all good. I'm just going to dry this. I thought I had it going, and then I realized that I definitely did not. I was not recording, so let's do that again. So what I did was I put some texture paste on my gear, and then I dried it so that it would bubble. So I'm just doing it like that. There we go. And then I'm drying it. And the drying is when the bubbling starts. So let me do another great big one here. Oh, stick my fingers into the paste again, because apparently that's how I roll. I've got texture paste everywhere, guys. I was trying to keep it as neat and clean as I possibly could. And what happens? I get it everywhere. So I'm just kind of dabbing it on a little bit so that it also is textured right from the get-go. And then I'll dry it. I don't know if you can see the bubbling. That was my heat gun. Okay, it is definitely doing what I want it to do. So I'll do a bunch more and then I will be back. All right, so I've done a whole bunch and they're all dry. And they have lots of texture on them. You may not be able to see it, but I can definitely feel it like when I go over it with my fingers. It is bumpy and like I love it. So all I'm going to do is glue these on after inky tool. And I'm going to give them a quick ink around so that they will stand out a little bit more, and this is kind of giving them just that little bit more yuck, grungy look. I am going to glue these down, and I am grabbing my fast tacky glue. Putting some glue on there, and then just tacking it down. I think it's really cute. These projects, these board book projects are really more for experimenting and what can I do and how can I use my supplies a little different. That's really what I'm doing, and I hope you're enjoying that. I find it very interesting to do these things. I could use other colors for the gears and stuff, but I wanted to use just the infusions colors, and I am sticking with the power of 3 on creating these clusters of gears. Oh, this one is a big one. You can go over top right there. Ugh. Right, that wasn't totally dry. I just stuck my fingers in it. I just want some gear clusters right here on the page. So not overly the power of 3, but they are clusters. Yeah, I like it. I actually really like this. I am going to take a couple of gears without any texture paste, I think, and just put them up in the top. Right there. A few little ones. Just to cover up where I had made a little bit of a mess. I have another one. This one maybe. Oh. So I made these die cuts by gluing together a couple of book pages, and that becomes nice and hard, almost like cardstock, and then you can die cut it, and you get lots of texture and interest on the clusters or on the gears. All right, so this is today's video for the golden board book. and for the letter G. So I have gears and G's and grunge. I really like it. I hope you do as well. If you do like it, please subscribe to my channel so you can see what I am coming up with next week for the board book projects, or what I'm going to come up with for the rest of the week for my sewing journal. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.